Have you ever heard of the Disney adult iceberg theory? For some context, the iceberg theory is a model of an iceberg which displays the different levels of human consciousness. The surface of the iceberg carries the most conscious and normal individuals, and as you go deeper and become submerged in water, you lose consciousness, aka you become more deranged. Now you're probably wondering, how does this relate to Disney adults?
In the Disney adult iceberg theory, the surface of the iceberg has what most Disney fans classify themselves as. In this tier, there are the most casual fans of Disney. For example, they may have watched and enjoyed the films growing up, which probably includes most of us. As you go deeper through the surface, the second tier becomes more intense. This tier includes people who watched every single Disney movie. They attend the parks every few years and may own a pair of Mickey Mouse ears, but doesn't really wear them. Now I know this is already sounding pretty intense. However, everything I just stated was just on the surface of the iceberg. It's only then, after submerging yourself deeper and deeper within the chilled depths of this ice mound, that you truly become privy to how diluted some of these people can actually get.
The third tier is the first tier that is underwater. You'll notice that from here on out, the Disney adults will become more frightening. This tier includes adults that attend the park as much as possible, has at least one Disney-themed tattoo, and may even own an entire Instagram account dedicated towards the franchise. The fourth tier consists of die-hard Disney fans. They probably cosplay in their free time and Disney-bound at the parks. For those of you who are a little confused, Disney-bounding will be explained later in the podcast, so just be patient. The fifth tier includes fans who had a Disney-themed wedding and honeymoon. They spend every anniversary at the parks but don't have kids. And last and most terrifying tier consists of fans who are completely consumed by Disney. They live on the Disney property, they go to the parks every single day, and they live to serve their merciless god Mickey Mouse.
There has been a large debate regarding the varying characteristics of these Disney adults. Is it completely healthy and normal to consume media created for children, or is it actually harmful to the adult? In this podcast, we'll be diving into these different perspectives. We will examine whether being a Disney fanatic is healthy or unhealthy, or if it's simply just both. This podcast will play a lot into the good cop and bad cop method, with one of our perspectives looking at the positives while the other the negatives. The last section will include a sort of middle ground between the two very antithetical perspectives.
This is Disney adults. The good,
Minuscule,
the bad,
majority of this episode,
and the ugly.
Can we be mean?
This podcast is brought to you by AudioChuck. Full show notes and our script will be located online at our website, www.imnosy.com.
I think they're kind of weird. I feel like Disney should only be for kids, but I don't really mind them.
Disney stories are anything but childish. I mean, if you think about the message that's being sent in any one of these stories, these are the kinds of things we can learn at any age.
Those are all interviews from teachers and students from Blaine High School. Each had a different perspective regarding how they viewed the Disney fanatics. I have personally always enjoyed watching cartoons and kids shows, even as a teenager, and in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with it. If watching cartoons made for kids brings you joy, then you should continue to do it. And after doing some research, I discovered that watching kids show can actually have positive effects on your mental health and well-being, and many therapists and mental health professionals actually can back that up, saying that, for one therapist, for example, said that watching cartoons made for kids is a good way to cope with mental health issues, and she says that these cartoons can, quote, help restore optimism and give someone a break from worrying or feeling sad, all of which can help elevate your mood, end quote. These adults are not hurting people by enjoying these shows, and many of them argue that they enjoy Disney simply because it makes them happy. One Disney adult from Seattle defined the nickname in her own words, stating, quote, Disney adults are people who embrace the magic of Disney and don't care what others think because their happiness is what matters, end quote, from businessinsider.com. Most Disney adults would classify themselves into this category, claiming to be fans of the franchise who simply enjoy it and don't care if others think they're weird or immature for it. In my opinion, I don't think these types of people should be looked down upon. They're simply embracing something that brings them joy and not caring what others think about it. Of course, in every fandom there are the extreme people. Most people use the term Disney adult in a negative way, and I think the reason Disney adults became so hated is because of the extreme fans. The ones that borderline live in the Disney parks and have seen every movie multiple times can be very obsessive to the point it gets kind of creepy. But most of the fans are just ones who simply enjoy Disney as something that reminds them of their childhood and can bring them a temporary distraction into their life. These people aren't hurting anyone, and I don't think that they should be looked down on because of some small innocent thing that they enjoy. I have met many adults who enjoy Disney more than the usual person, and all of them have been really kind and reasonable people. One girl that I worked with, for example, worked at one of the Disney parks, and she enjoys the Disney franchise, but she isn't annoying about it how people claim. She doesn't constantly talk about Disney and isn't so obsessed with it that it's creepy, like many people say. And I think people may be overreacting when they're hating on Disney adults, because it's normal for someone to want to talk about the things that they enjoy from time to time, even if it's something that isn't necessarily socially acceptable. By enjoying Disney, these adults are managing to find an escape from the stress of reality, just as all of us need a way to do. And as long as they're not hurting anyone, they should not be judged or looked at differently because of something they're passionate about.
Now that we've explored the reasons on why being a Disney fanatic is actually healthy for an adult, this section of the podcast will dive into the reasons on why it isn't. Every year, we lose promising, working-class adults to the horrors of Mickey Mouse and his destitute legion of thugs. Now, I know that sounds extreme, but Disney adults tend to cross a metaphorical line when it comes to their outright preposterous behavior. It's difficult to excuse their interest as something inherently innocent when several 30-plus-year-olds were mourning the loss of the Splash Mountain ride like they had heard news that their great aunt was dying due to liver cancer. Although, I'm fairly certain that some of them would not be too sad to hear about that great aunt had she left a sizable sum of money that they could use to inflate Disney's already large pockets. And that is the most rage-inducing problem when it comes to these folks. Their sheer lack of responsibility when it comes to anything outside the parks is baffling, and their actions of these Disney adults tend to show that they are very far removed from reality. From purchasing every Disney-related item, to religiously visiting the parks, to even attempting to give birth there, Disney adults have taken their new hobby to the extreme, and it is completely unhealthy. In the year 2020, Disney banned the phenomena known as Disney bounding, which is the act of adults dressed in full cosplay of the characters from the Disney films. The reason for this was because Disney did not want to be liable for how badly some of these character-adorned adults treated fellow patrons, people who paid just as much to experience the magic from the parks as them. In an article regarding Disney banning adults from dressing up as their characters, Christian Acuna states, quote, "The company wants to maintain the magical experience for parkgoers, especially children, throughout their visit. A customed non-employee who is not a representative of the brand may be mistaken as a Disney employee, harming Disney's image. Disney wants no adults in costumes for the safety of children visiting the parks, and the safety of their own reputation." End quote. The fact that Disney had to take action against these obsessed fans is genuinely absurd. There's another instance where Disney adults crossed the line, which was when pregnant women flocked to the parks to give birth there. The reason for this was because of a rumor circulating among many Disney fans. The rumor was that if you happened to give birth at the Disney parks, you and your child would be eligible to receive unlimited lifetime passes for the parks. This motivated many pregnant women to enter the parks while in labor, in hopes to give birth there. Regarding the phenomena of pregnant women attempting to give birth at the parks, the article, "Does Giving Birth at Disney Give You a Lifetime Pass?" states an example of this happening. Quote, "There have been reports of Disney fans before who have given birth at the Disney parks, with the first birth being recorded at the Disney Resort being that of Teresa Salcedo at the Disney Resort on July 6, 1979. End quote. And before you make the argument that they're not hurting anyone with these actions, unfortunately that would be false. Their attempt to give birth there is affecting not only the staff, who are completely untrained to deliver a baby, but their carelessness could also affect that baby's health. It's not just the actions of these Disney-crazed fans that are absurd. It's the sheer concept. I mean, from their own experience, no matter how many times a week they've attended the same few attractions and stood in line for the same 7 and 8 rides, all that takes precedence over very real, very human people. They occupy this very space they terrorize. And that type of attitude you cannot just write off as being rude and entitled. I mean, you have fully grown adults budging in line in front of kids to meet Elsa and Anna for children who couldn't be over the age of 6. This isn't normal, nor is it healthy for adults. Not to mention how expensive it is to be a Disney adult. This is mainly due to overconsumption being normalized within the Disney adult community. Disney has even taken upon themselves to create neighborhoods near the Disney parks for these obsessed fans to live in. According to the official Disney's Golden Oak website, each house retails around for $10 million. This isn't even including the fees to visit the parks, which Disney adults do at least every month. Being a Disney adult is very taxing, from buying merch to visiting the parks, and over time that money adds up. Especially in this economy, a lot of these adults don't have the money to be leisurely spending on Disney's products. Overall, the action and behavior of these Disney fanatics is absolutely unhealthy, both for the adults and their surrounding peers.
Throughout many generations, the Walt Disney Company has been an integral part of childhood. However, what happens when that love from infancy carries over into adulthood? Discover the fascinating realm of Disney adults, a varied group of people bound together by their strong love for the company. This movement, however, has two opposing effects. It promotes thriving communities and artistic expression, but also raises issues with unhealthy escapism and financial hardship. Disney adults are more than just consumers. They're involved members of a thriving community. Online communities, cosplay clubs, and themed events provide venues for self-expression, connection, and shared joy. Whether constructing elaborate Disney-themed costumes or having animated debates about loved movies, this common interest cultivates a feeling of community and belonging. Moreover, this interest stimulates artistic creativity. Fan art, music, and even food creations are inspired by Disney's rich history and adored characters. This kind of artistic expression enables people to connect with the brand more deeply. Disney adults make a huge economic contribution in addition to their personal fulfillment. Each year, visits to theme parks, purchases of merchandise, and usage of Disney media platforms brings in billions of dollars. Through Disney-affiliated organizations, this economic effect sponsors charity endeavors, helps local companies, and provides jobs. In addition, the community actively participates in social causes and philanthropy. A lot of people plan fundraising activities or donate their time to assist nonprofits that share Disney's beliefs. However, unwavering devotion to Disney may at times result in dangers. Overspending on merchandise, travel, and leisure activities can put a burden on finances, especially for those with low incomes. This debt trap can have a detrimental effect on one's personal finances and heighten anxiety and stress levels. Furthermore, others contend that relying too much on Disney as a means of escape may be detrimental. While there is a place for nostalgia, living a life of perpetual fantasy might prevent people from facing and managing the reality of everyday life. This escape may impede one's ability to grow personally and cause social isolation. Lastly, gatekeeping and elitism may cause problems inside the group. People who may not have the financial means or personal choices to do so may feel excluded from particular hobbies or spending habits due to pressure to fit in. Disney frequently advertises diversity as a core principle, yet this contradicts it and fosters a sense of exclusivity. It is important to keep in mind that Disney adults are not a uniform group. Their financial circumstances, degrees of involvement, and goals differ greatly. It is unjust and wrong to judge the entire community based on the extremes. In the end, having fun with Disney as an adult demands self-control and moderation. By being aware of the potential dangers, people can navigate the community in a healthy manner, minimizing the risks and maximizing the benefits. A challenging and intriguing paradox is presented by the Disney adults phenomena. It's a community driven by passion that promotes relationships, innovation, and even social and economic progress. It is not without its drawbacks, though, which can include unhealthy escapism and financial stress. People can fully experience the enchantment of Disney while keeping their feet firmly planted in reality through understanding both sides of the issue and acting appropriately in the community. Throughout the duration of this podcast, we dove into the world of Disney adults. From your average fan to absolute obsession, we discussed the effects of watching these children-oriented shows and how it can impact your mental health and well-being in both positive and negative ways.
We gave examples of just how out of hand these obsessions can become and discussed different opinions people have on these obsessed individuals. I know that was a lot of information to digest, but I'm going to end it here by asking a question. What are your guys' thoughts on Disney adults?
Make sure to share your thoughts on our website, and don't forget to leave a review on our podcast and sign up for more upcoming episodes to hear about other problems happening in our community.
Bye!